And we are live.
We are. Wow. On the road again.
Yep.
Hey, Chris. Road trip to
Hey, Arm.
Fairfax?
What? Again,
Yeah.
it's Friday already?
Yeah.
Ah,
Episode 13. We're on the road. You're actually in a car. Like
oh,
I'm
yeah.
I'm
That's
faking it
right.
over here on the trip with you. So tell me about your what's happening? Where are you?
Yeah. So I decided to take the day off and got a bunch of errands done in the morning and a lot of laundry that was desperately needed. But anyway, there's a good friend of mine that I hadn't seen, actually, a couple of them here. I'm out in the East Bay, out in Pleasanton, that I hadn't seen since COVID. And
Yeah.
so it was kind of a tradition for us to meet today. So each year, and we hadn't done it in a while. So it was great to reconnect, and he was up for it, and some other buddies of ours were. And so I'm actually down here in Pleasanton on Main Street, and we went to McKay's, which I actually, this area, I used to live like just a couple blocks over. I'm right near the Alameda County Fairgrounds.
Hmm.
Again, this is Pleasanton, California. And anyway, I hadn't been back to this area in a while, and I just love to see how the main street, which is kind of like the old downtown area of Pleasanton, just how it's blossomed. And my buddy's really good at picking just like good outdoor sort of friendly, pubs with good food, and that's basically what it was. So I had
Yeah.
myself a portobello mushroom burger, except the meat was actually the portobello mushroom. It was sautéed mushrooms with hummus and a ton of garlic, and
Ah,
yeah,
good thing you
I was
had the
pretty happy with it.
garlic. You had the
Yeah,
garlic, and I'm way over here on the other side of I don't know how many miles it is from you, not smelling your garlic breath. Ha!
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I love garlic. Yeah, yeah. Those portobellos kind of like have the texture of meat when
Hmm.
if you're going to try to do a vegetarian burger, for instance, portobello
Yeah.
mushroom is like almost, yeah,
Oh,
it's
and
got
once
that
they hit the
chewy.
grill, yeah, they kind of just get it lit off of just a great aroma and
Mm,
texture that is
mm.
quite delicious.
I'm
But I
jealous.
also respect
I'm jealous.
mushrooms is kind of a funny thing because that's kind of one of those things like mushrooms and like shrimp and to a certain extent calamari is kind of one of those things like either you love it or you hate it. And that's how it is with mushrooms. Either you're all in or it's all about that sort of like that
Gag
rubbery
you.
texture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't going to mention this, but I will now because I was at an outside dance on Sunday over by the aquatic park, and one of the people that showed up brought live oysters and was shucking them and offering them
Mm.
to us, right? And I got there hungry, and I thought, oh man, I haven't had a raw oyster in forever. So I take this little oyster and I suck it down, and I'm like, salt water and fish. It was I appreciated the gesture, but it was kind of shocking. I didn't want a second one. So I think that's kind of
Oh,
what you're talking about. Like,
yeah. Yeah. That's another
yeah,
thing that, yeah, it's not like, oh, I'll just like try a little bit or I'll have, yeah, you're just either
yeah,
in the deep end or not at all.
yeah, yeah.
I could
Raw
understand why not.
oysters. That's a taste.
Yeah.
It's a taste, and
Uh-huh.
I haven't had them in a long time. I like them with a little bit of horseradish or lemon or something. I don't know. These were just, but so that was kind of fun. That was an outside sort of picnicky dance by
Mm.
the aquatic park, which is the first time that that particular dance and folks have gone out for that. So that was fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. What did you do this weekend for dance
Oh, wow. So Saturday was my first experience with the new Ecstatter,
day?
Saturday. Yeah, yeah, it's struggling with this, but anyway, that's being put on by the Church of Dance, which is headed up by Steve Meldner and Ben Batia. Apologies if I'm not saying the names exactly right, but they're regulars of the Oakland and the Greater Bay Area dance community, and they've been, going to that quite consistently, and so they've helped
They've
to
been
kind of
going
take
to the San Francisco, like
the
in the park dance, right?
yeah
Do you
the
know where that
ex
is? Yeah.
yeah the Ecstatter Saturdays. Yeah.
It was
Okay.
Saturday,
Ecstatter.
and now it's Ecstatter Day. Yes,
Yeah.
right. The change.
Ecstatter. Yes. Yeah. There's two T's.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. 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 It's taken me.
It's a stutter
Um.
name, you know? You got to stutter it out, right? That name, Ecstatter Day.
Yeah. 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 So
Nevertheless,
uh. So yeah. So nevertheless, I got there just right about on time, and that's something interesting that I'm learning about Golden Gate Park, and it could change as the weather warms up. But I always thought that it's like, man, you better get there 10, 11 in the morning or there's just going to be no parking at all. But it seems like people really like to come later in the afternoon. So
Oh,
as long as you're getting there, and so the Saturday starts at 1 p.m. So as long as you're getting there a little bit before,
yeah,
then
I get it.
there's a fair amount of parking nearby where you're not really walking that far and you're parking close enough that you could, go back and forth to your car so you don't have to ferry everything in one shot.
Right, right.
Um,
And I mean, it's
but
important to have parking and bathrooms, right? Those are kind of
yep.
key pieces when you're out in less civilized territory, out on the grass somewhere in a park.
And
Right.
for as much as I pee, you would think
Yes.
that I would be better at making that second nature to be asking those questions and be understanding the area, but I still find myself coming to these parties blind and just not thinking about that ahead of time. So I'm actually glad you're bringing that up because that kind of comes into play in certain areas where there is no restroom. But I mean, there's ways around it. It's not like you just have to hold it the whole time, but you
Yeah.
got to plan a little bit. Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
a little easier if you're a guy, and it's a little easier if there's some trees and some cover and brush. But yeah,
absolutely.
I'm just thinking now how we used to go to the Fairyland, kind of near the Fairyland
Uh,
entryway for the after ecstatic dance Sunday morning dance. We had this kind of ongoing picnic that was very casual. And so there's this little spot there. But seriously, there are no bathrooms. I mean, after 10 years of going there, I just take a little toilet paper and I'd go behind a car, somewhere and find a little spot because the walk was all the way to Whole Foods or something else. So that was just not I love that at Snow Park there is a new bathroom there. Like we could have a whole
mhm.
hour on the bathrooms, but we won't do that. But still, thank you for having a park and having some open bathrooms because human beings have bodily functions after all.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's important.
yeah.
So you went to Ecstatter Day, which is the new name for the old thing
Hmm.
that's reconfiguring itself, right? And
Yep.
in that, what's the location again where that happens?
It's in Hellman Hollow off of John F. Kennedy Drive, I want to say it is. I have to be really careful with giving directions. I'd almost
That's
rather put the
okay.
link
People
on
can
Google Map,
Google
but
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
People can
That's
Google it, but the Hellman Hollow, I think you could probably Google right into
you can
that and
Hellman. Yeah,
find.
you can Hellman that. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
you can map to that and find it.
You can hell your
Yeah.
way into Hellman Hollow. Yeah, right. Just
Hmm.
Google it. Call it
Just
push.
hollow away your way in.
Hollow your way into Hellman Hollow. Yeah, Google, help me out. Take your phone with you. Thank God for these smartphones that are mostly smart. And so what happened? Did you find some
So
dancing there today with the
I
shift?
I did indeed. So it was quite fascinating because the difference is that they opened up a little bit more versatility. And what I found that's becoming more popular in doing there is bringing the external speakers that have the ability to tune into an FM frequency.
Uh-huh.
And so you've got a couple different choices there. So when you
Oh.
get there and you check in, I mean, not check in, but I mean, if you want to find out what options you have, you can either go to Mixler and listen to the set on Mixler, or you can go and I should have looked up the app. I'm trying to remember, but there's a certain app that you can use
Yeah,
that downloads this sort of like remote Wi-Fi ability to connect
FM.
to this, yeah, to the FM set.
So like radio
So
broadcast, right? Is that what FM is or not? I think you
yeah,
said.
it's
Yeah.
well, yeah, yeah, but I think what it's doing, but the way that it's connecting is it's connecting via Wi-Fi actually. So I don't know if the
Oh,
FM's the same. Actually, no, yeah, I got to stay honest on that.
that's
I
all
think
right.
the it's yeah, well,
It's probably more detail. As long as you can, if you have your phone, you could probably download the app, right? And then you could have this option, is what you're saying. So you
right.
can actually be listening that way. Or Mixler, which we haven't talked a lot about, but we've mentioned it that a lot of the virtual dances moved from, most of them were happening within the Zoom space. Zoom is like a meet. It was made originally for meetings and then people kind of started using it for group dancing. And then when you'd have pile on 30, 40, 50, 100 people into one of those Zoom meetings, the sound would tend to degenerate. And that's when people
Hmm.
started using Mixler, which is kind of, I guess it's kind of like SoundCloud or one of those places that holds music or transmits music. So the DJ can actually send his music through Mixler. I'll use that
Hmm.
really simple language. And then if you're on a computer, you can open a tab, to that URL where the Mixler is, and then you can play it that way instead of through the
Right.
Zoom interface, basically. Yeah, so it's
Yeah, and
cleaner. Yeah.
And so here's the breakdown. So what the FM part is for is that what they say there is that if they have the ability to broadcast via external speaker, then they'll have it going on via the FM connection.
Okay.
However, if that's not available, it's a good idea to bring your own headphones or perhaps
Okay.
just a small external speaker. And then the two ways that you can connect is either one through Mixler or two through this application that you download in the Play Store, that allows you to connect to them via Wi-Fi. Now, the advantage of the second one is that there's not that time delay that Mixler has.
Oh, right.
But
Yeah.
but Ben was working on dialing that in so that the Mixler was actually timed to the
Ooh.
actual set, and they got
Uh-huh.
it really, really close. So
Oh,
now
nice.
it's really, yeah, that's going to be the one advantage is that you can either listen to it internally via headphones or listen to it externally and be next to other people and be dancing to the same beat.
Ah, so both the people that have their headphones or earphones or buds or whatever they're listening to, and the people that don't, that are listening through a speaker, are in the same rhythm, in the same beat, in the same place
Yeah,
in the music. That's
yeah.
nice. That's
Yeah,
really awesome.
those two guys are incredible at that. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty cool to watch that. They were yeah, they were really
Ha
dialed
ha
in.
ha ha. Tech
Yeah, and
wizards. Yay, I love tech wizards.
yeah,
While
yeah,
they're figuring that out. Hmm.
and this was Steven's set that he compiled and he put together, and you could tell
Steven?
it's
Who
just out
is
of
Steven? Is he one of the
uh
two?
he's one
Oh,
of the two, and it's
okay.
I think it's pronounced Meltner. But
Milner.
anyway, yes,
Okay.
yeah. So anyway, he put together a set, but it is pre-recorded, so he can be part of the dance and be
Yeah.
there and share the experience with everybody. But it was a bit of a different set. It was a bit of a different ride, and you
Yeah,
could tell it was
because up
definitely,
until
yeah,
now, let's just pause here. This has been pretty much the same DJ holding that space for almost a year, right? And
yeah,
so now
yeah.
there's a little shift up because he's left the area. And so now this is kind of people coming into that space and sort of recreating and transforming and doing it in their own, adding their own like special juice and their own
Yeah,
tint. So you got
yeah.
some different music. Did you like
Got
what
some
he
different.
what
I
he put
did.
together?
It took a bit of a wild ride. It was smooth at first, and then it just got really sort of like choppy and grindy, and then it bounced out to like this beautiful melodic end to the point where it was like the last song, and I was just sitting there and watching people just lie on the grass and just kind of,
Ah.
be very tranquil, and it was so peaceful. Uh,
Mm.
and then Jesse jumped in. Boom, boom, boom.
All
Yeah, it was
right.
a good
So he just
time.
picked it right
Yeah.
back up
Oh,
without, he
there
has
was
the speakers, right? So everyone will
yeah.
be hearing that at that point, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, they had the speakers the whole time. They actually had the speakers working for the Ecstatic Day as well. So it was all playing external and also via headphones. So,
Right. So you
yeah,
can have either experience or both, even almost,
yeah,
or yeah. So everyone's on the same page. Um, and then Jesse so he comes in at around 3, right? When he sort of sets up and starts.
that's right. I don't think the times are like 100% exact because I think there was a little bit of quiet time while they either like had a minute to just kind of chill or to
Yeah.
like switch on over. So it's not like it's like, chop on, chop
Continuous.
off,
Yeah.
continuous.
Yeah.
But the Jesse set started after that, and I'll talk about that more at the end. But it looks
Okay.
like they're kind of formalizing Jesse's dance journey to be kind of like the second official half, and with like an actual closing circle time and everything like that. And I know I had mentioned that before, I think at least
Yeah.
a previous podcast or two, but it seems like they're formalizing it more. So I think it's going to be
Mm.
in a positive sense, it's going to be more of an expectation that you can go there and have an opportunity to have this dance experience and to be able to heart share and experience that heart share from others as well at the end.
Yeah. And and
Yeah.
that's a really important aspect. I think, we didn't really have that. Well, we did at the very beginning of the ecstatic dances. That was a feature. Was we had opening intentions and then we also had heart share circle. But when you have 300 people and you're trying to do a closing circle, I think some of the producers decided that was just a little too much. So instead, they shifted it from, well, I don't know if but they would do sound healing. So different artists at the end would come in and do live vocal or musical or uh, um, I'm trying to think of the callback kind of stuff that would bring people into this kind of connected together, but less electronic and more of a soundscape to sort of just absorb and soften and drop into the quiet space. And
Mm.
yeah, so lovely, so lovely. Yeah, remembering,
Oh my
right?
God.
Uh,
Oh.
And so what I think that I've seen on the virtual dances being really important too is, well, I skipped ahead. So without really a kind of a circle at the end, then we started doing this picnic, or at least more people would come to the picnic so that we could then share with each other, connect, and get to know each other a little more, because the dance floor is a nonverbal space, ecstatic dance especially. And I've seen the virtual dances that include that seem to
Hmm.
really have been the ones that have maintained a following. It seems to be an important piece, especially if you're not actually closely dancing with people. And these are strangers on a screen that you haven't met before until, they show up on your screen. That to have that time to let people talk about themselves a little bit and share either in the beginning intentions or afterwards kind of how they were moved. That's an important community sort of safety, sort of bonding piece, I think. I think people are hungry for that, and that's really wise, and it really serves the community to have that
Hmm.
as part of the dance, the virtual dances. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like the organizers that they genuinely want it. They
Yes.
genuinely want that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why,
I
they
feel
want
that.
it
Yeah,
to. Yeah, that's for them
yeah.
as much as I know for my little dance, it's half dance and half heart share because that's how
Hmm.
much I want it too. And partly the dance kind of opens people too, because then they get connected in their body, they get in the present moment, they sort of let go of hopefully a lot of the day, the mental stuff. And so once we're kind of like, at the end with the sound healing, then we're in this soft place to really open up a little bit and not be guarded and be mm, yummy with each other. Yeah. Yeah. That's the
You've been
word.
liking that word lately. Yeah, you've been liking that word lately. When you just can't think of something like,
It
I'm not sure
works.
exactly what to call this. This portobello mushroom burger, but
It's a yummy
it's
one.
yummy.
This is a
Yeah.
really strange little detour, but I had a pet parrot for a while, and the way I taught it to ask for food was to say, "Yummy, yummy." And I taught it some tricks about turning around and putting its paw up, give me 5, other paw, turn around, and then it would go, "Yummy, yummy," and then I would give it the
Oh
food.
my God.
So maybe it's a little bit of a holdover from that. I'm so outed right now. Anyway,
Nice.
yeah. So, but to get back to this is really lovely. I think that first of all, Jesse Manuel, who's been really very steadily and with continuity showing up and being there for when the silent or the ear it has been sort of an inner ear kind of dance experience completes, then he's got the speakers and he's got some sets and he does that, and now he's doing closing circles, right,
Hmm.
the heart share circles, and it sounds like
Right.
these two groups have sort of shaken hands, like we're one
Yeah.
thing, we're going to go from this to this and include this, and that must be sweet. Yeah.
Well, and the great part about that is it's all. I mean, the way I see it, it's all one unit. Like they've always kind of all been there. It's just, I think the only thing that differentiates anybody in that group is just the time of day they usually show up.
Aha, right.
Some people like to show up early. Like I like to show up well before dance. Like if I can, I
Yeah.
actually want to like sneak over. I want to get there super early and
Uh-huh.
sneak over to that area that Gabriel was holding that
Oh,
dance is
right.
life class on the
Yeah.
other end of Hellman Hollow and just do some just wild dance, crazy stuff and kind of just like let it fly over there where nobody is and just kind of be on my own. Just kind of do
Mm.
my, yeah, it's just
Yeah, your
kind of
little
that, but
private solo sort of,
yeah, 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 yeah,
practice
yeah.
space before others show up. That's nice. Yeah.
Right, but then there's people who show up like at the very end of what would be Gabriel's set, but now
The 3
uh,
at like around close to
at around
3 o'clock
three
after that
o'clock,
sort of, yeah. Uh-huh.
and it's just because of other stuff that they got to do during the day and what have you.
Yeah.
But like literally, yeah, it's still at the end of the day. It's like when you look at that group, it's all one cohesive unit
Yeah.
that I've
Lovely.
seen there.
I love
Yeah,
that
yeah,
feeling of we're all together in collaboration and how we can work with each other and just include everyone and make it work for everyone. And so and Jesse is just a sweet, sweet person. I'm so glad
yeah.
that he actually showed up at this dance I was at Sunday, but he wasn't DJing. I'm not sure what was going on there, but I saw him sort of schmoozing a little with some of the others that are kind of leading that dance. So we'll see if he
Hmm.
ends up uh, being part of those Sunday here in Oakland, in the East
Mhm.
Bay. That would
Oh
be nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
nice.
Nice.
And I don't have to travel to San Francisco. I know you love to drive. You're in your car. That's why you always drove on the road trips. Yes, I will go with
Yeah.
you. I don't really like
Well, but also too, I've just developed this whole new like fondness and not fondness. That's just not the right word. This whole new love for San Francisco. It's also
Ah.
I mean it's yes, I like to drive, but it's
Mm.
more than that because sometimes the drive sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's just once I get there, I just have this like sense and
Oh.
feeling of liberation. Like I'm in fucking San Francisco, man. I'm like, there's the Golden Gate Bridge, there's Golden Gate Park. I'm able to do this for whatever reason. I'm just gonna like just
Mm.
soak it all
Mm.
in, and
Mm.
more often than not, those are times that I'm just completely by myself, and that's the other reason why I like to go early. I like to go when nobody's there and it's all crispy and dewy out. Maybe I've got a hot coffee. I haven't like totally
Oh.
ramped up yet, and then I can just
Almost
be all nice and
meditation.
fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
Like
little
you're
bit,
walking
little
into
bit.
nature by yourself and you're
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
nice. Yeah. That's a
yeah.
point. That's a point. I used to go over there for a Russian what do they call it now? It's like a hot steam and sauna place, banya. And
Like a bathhouse.
yeah, a really amazing one. I could talk about it. I can't, it's called Archimedes and it's kind of in the South San Francisco area of the city.
Hmm.
And I would leave here at noon on this side, get right over the bridge, get right in there. They opened at 12 or 12:30, be there for 3, 4 hours. And then I'd get in my car and stress the whole way home because I don't like traffic. So I stopped doing it because,
Yeah.
I get all melted and relaxed. And then I'd be like, now I'm in this bumper to bumper traffic. It's taken me an hour and a half to get home. It took me 30 minutes to get here. Yeah. And part of that's attitude because I know you're probably capable of just sitting with it and enjoying yourself. And for me, my mind would just get mad at me for having to sit in traffic.
I love bumping the music too. So there's always some like new set that I'm super anxious to check out.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like zone out and
Yeah.
just kind of chill in the traffic.
That would have
So
been a smarter move on my part. Maybe I'll start going back there. We'll see. It was great.
yeah.
Really, their steam rooms are gigantic. You can fit like 20 people in there and they put beer on the rocks. It's very Russian,
Uh,
very, it was very unique. A lot of Russians actually use that spa and the owner is amazing. He looks like Robin Williams. He's just great. So Michael, I'm just pulling it out of the air right now as you bring it to my mind, and it's
yeah.
maybe, yeah. So yeah, you did that, and then so were people there hanging out in the closing heart share circle? How was that?
W-
And
well, I didn't stay for that because I had
oh,
a split up the
what
Sutro.
did you
Yeah,
do?
yeah. Well, no, it was the monthly silent disco up at
Well,
Sutro Heights that
I'm
I've been.
asking. Yeah, not
Oh
everybody
yeah.
knows that. So you didn't stay
Oh
for
oh
the.
yeah yeah. So I didn't. Yeah right. Yeah. Quick on the draw there.
Oh, that's my job.
Um, but anyway, this is a monthly event that's put on by The Drop that happens up at Sutro Heights, and it's a silent disco
Mhm.
that happens for 3 hours from 5 to 8 p.m.
Mhm.
And it's three different DJs on three different channels.
Mm.
And from 6 to 7, they have a dance instructor who comes over into like the main area up there. And I don't know if I want to necessarily go into describing it. You just got to come and check it out. It's basically
Yeah, you
uh,
described the last time there
yeah,
was someone doing, I
yeah,
forget what it was, some kind of step that she was teaching. Yeah, that a woman was
yeah,
doing.
yeah.
But the awesome
So
location is you found it easier this time, I'm assuming, since you now know
yeah,
where
because
it
I
is.
parked in the right parking lot. I can't believe how far I walked. Once I finally drove to the right parking lot,
You were like, oh, it's
which
right here. Yeah.
yeah, which basically, if you're coming from Golden Gate Park, you got to go all the way down Fulton until you hit the Great Highway and then hook a right.
Yeah.
But you just continue on Ocean Beach until you kind of curve up and around the corner, and then it's that first little tiny parking lot. So that's the only kind of warning I want to give.
Well, here's
And
the
then
thing,
it's just an easy
any of
shot.
our
Yeah,
listeners and writers, if you can't figure it out, you can just text Chris and he will give you directions, right? He could probably
yeah.
just bring you in. Either
Give you the deeds.
he's
Yeah,
at the event already and he's just done it, or he's just generous that way because this is how Chris is, loving to help people find the dances. So, right? You're going to just
Yeah.
be text available. I'm joking somewhat, but not really.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if you can, I mean, my preference would be if I could put a link and you could like find it, would be
And we
awesome.
can do that too. We'll have a
But
link
if
for,
push
yeah.
comes to shove, yeah,
I'm
exactly.
pulling your leg. You see how he
Because
just
I've
goes
been
with
there.
me. He's such a nice boy. All right, so
I know.
you are.
but but anyway, Eva Leapin Ligris was headlining at that one,
Can you
and
say her
she
name
just
again? That was fast.
Eva EVA Leaping Ligris.
Yes.
Yes,
She's awesome DJ.
she
Yeah.
is an epic DJ. She brings a big, deep, juicy drop, sort of bassy, sultry kind of long 3-hour set that leaves you just sweating in the freezing cold of San Francisco.
As the fog
Yeah.
rolls in, you're just dripping from
Yeah.
your
You're
own
like, I don't
sweat.
care. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's a dancer too. When I
Mhm.
see her DJing, she's just moving it right there,
Yeah.
behind the decks. She's just digging every beat that she's got going on. So that's always inspiring to me to see. Yeah, as well. So
Yeah.
you
For you
had
old house music fans, she's like Donald Galad as far as with the mannerisms, how he used to be on stage when it was like back in the vinyl days. When I first saw her perform, I was like, oh my God, we've got Donald Galad on stage.
Yeah.
So anyway, but all DJs were incredible. It was hard for me because I popped around a lot between the channels.
Yeah,
And
there's 3
sometimes,
channels that you get in
yeah,
that party,
yeah,
right? Yeah. Mhm.
yeah.
Is it a party? Is it a dance? It is an event? How is it? How does somebody
Uh,
find it or list it, or how do
Um,
they conceptualize it?
they have, well, I mean, I'll make sure that I drop in the link so that you can go to the actual page that because they do a bunch of different,
But
I
how
think
would you
it's like different
describe it?
dance,
I mean,
like
just give me your vernacular. Yeah.
the way that I would describe it is a silent disco. It would be a
Okay.
silent disco with 3 channels in one venue, but the venue is outdoors and it's up above on the rocks and like a
Oh,
huge
yeah.
open area. It's basically where I think it was either World War II or I'm not exactly sure, but they used to use it as a lookout for enemy ships on the horizon. And so
Right.
that's the kind of view you get where you're looking down Ocean Beach and the Great Pacific Highway. And then at nighttime is when everybody starts kicking up the bonfires. And then
Oh.
it just kind of lights up on the beach and then the sun
Oh.
comes down. And it was foggy on Saturday, so we didn't have that epic sunset. But when it does clear up and you have the sunset up there, it is unfreaking believably gorgeous.
Best day of your life ever, as I recall you saying
That
from the last
was,
time you were there. So
well,
that's
no,
pretty
well,
high
that was the best.
praise.
Yeah. Well, it
Pretty
was
high
definitely the best
praise.
party I'd ever been to, like
Okay.
best
Well,
dance party.
just a small
Yeah.
difference, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
take a moment. Let's take a moment here. I need a moment. Just think about that. I was just got kind of lost in the view and the bonfires and that epic view of the bay, and you're up on that ledge and you're doing your favorite thing in the world, which is dancing to awesome music with other people. Doesn't get a lot better than that. In fact, I'm just going to segue into a brief thing about myself. I had a rough day today for whatever reason. I don't even know, but I was kind of just contracted. My energy was like shut down in this way that I just was having trouble moving it. I kind of gave up moving it for a while, and then I thought, I'm just going to put some music on, and I had created this little set that's morning movement, just kind of to get me going in the morning. And I put that on, and the whole time I was dancing, I was freaking fine. I was so happy. I was like, why don't I just do this 24/7? It's just dance, right? All by myself in my living room, but loving the music. So it just shows me again, it's the best medicine I know of. And when I don't need medicine, it's still the best thing I know of, right? Even when I'm flying and great and right on track. So yeah, dancing. I am woot woot for dancing. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
it's good
God.
medicine.
Thank God.
It's a good way.
Yeah.
Especially when it's just the freestyle in the sense that's what I love about ecstatic dance. It
Move how you
doesn't
want.
matter what you do, move however you want.
Move how you want. It just
Shake it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shake it off.
And the thing is, I want to talk a little bit today also about kind of picking up from last week. We have a lot of us, actually, not a lot of us, you, me, and some people we know, figured out, found, and we're grateful for, when COVID shut us down from the live dancing that we were doing so frequently, we found online dancing, or created it, right? Or helped create it. I know I've talked about that a little bit. myself helping another person who's a producer actually start a dance, and then my own little dance that I do, and many others. And people that have never been DJs or done that kind of thing had this opportunity open up. And I know you have experimented more widely than I have in that area, especially when, you were dancing with dances all over the world. Any time frame you could find, there's people um, holding, it's almost like you were traveling around the world through dance by sitting at, well, not dancing with your computer,
Yeah,
so to
yeah,
speak,
yeah.
your virtual
Great.
dance screen. And I just want to shout out for that, because even as things are opening now and there's more in-person possibilities, um, I hope the virtual dances continue, because I think they really serve a need that doesn't get served with the live dances in some ways. And also, for one thing, I found them very satisfying, which is kind of surprising, because I thought, how could this work? And yet it can, and it does, especially with the heart sharing, but not necessarily with that. Just kind of, there's this way that I found that we actually, as human beings, apparently can like really connect through the screen, even through movement and even through energetically. So, I'm a big connector. So, but I could still get inspired by what I was seeing, and it would move me, and then I'd be dancing, and then I'd get inspired again, and other people are
Hmm.
inspired by me, and it's like it really it generates more energy, without having to be actually physically in, close proximity to live human breathing human beings. And I wanted to like maybe talk a little bit about how awesome that experience has been for us, just so that
Sure.
folks that haven't experienced it or have but are um, want to encourage others, or there's some advantages actually to the virtual dancing that when I really sat and thought about it, I made a pretty long list, not to read my list, but so I'm curious what you might offer in that way, since and just start us off with, you know, uh, pick one thing that you would say that happens on a virtual dance that isn't really as available, perhaps, in the same way in a live dance. Just start that way if you've got something. And if you don't, I'll just fill in, because I can always talk. I don't want to put you on the spot. You look a little stunned there. Are you okay?
No, I'm ready. I'm just waiting for you to stop talking.
Okay. I never do that. You have to push your way in. Don't you know that by now?
Hang on. We're in the car. I'm supposed to be driving.
I know.
Except I'm in the passenger seat.
Famous last words.
No, I mean, so one of the reasons I'm just like still on that all-time runner's high today, it's like, yeah, I had a good weekend, but the reason I'm just like so freaking pumped right now is Pam's dance last night. And, for the viewers out there, Harmony and I went to the same Monday night weekly dance. I think we've talked about it a fair amount. But
the virtual
it was
online dance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so many different aspects to it, but to kind of drill in about the virtual dance was just that consistent connection of people where, when I would regularly go to Suites or even to Fairfax, I would see a lot of the same regulars you and I would always see, but I wouldn't have that same connection, and I wouldn't see them every single week. And a lot of times I'm just kind of seeing them in the dark in the same establishment every single week, where now it's not only during this time of just incredible duress for all of us, where we're really starting to have to just deal with our true selves. It's like we just have these consistent faces that we just have so much common with, and energy is energy. And whether you're passing it through touch or through sight vis-a-vis with a person, or if it's through a laptop or through some other device, energy still flows through back and forth in the same way, and it's a very powerful thing. And I just use Pam's dance as one of the examples of many of them, where it's because of this virtual technology. And I'll be honest, the convenience of just being able to just roll out of bed or to just log off from work and not have to worry about traffic or public transit or taking a shower, all of those things.
Or
it's
even
like
feeding your cat, because you can do that while you're dancing, right?
Yeah, totally. I can just totally multicast that task. But it's great because you can get all that in, and it doesn't matter how you show up, just as you just show up and people are just happy to see you.
Yes.
And Pam's dance is just so just like iconic of what that represents in the virtual scene, and to be able to connect with people not only are in your geographical area, but all over the frickin' world, and to be able to just see them on the screen and just see their faces light up and your faces light up. And particularly last night, albeit some of them a little verbose, last night's heart shares were particularly exceptional, to the point that I was just left speechless. I actually, if any of the viewers from last night are watching, I apologize, because I felt like I was kind of abrupt, where I was just so tired I had to like disconnect, and I was like, all right, I gotta bounce, have a good night. But it was like, I used as much energy as I possibly could to soak in all the heart shares, because it was just like, just one after the other of just so much goodness and so much positivity, that was, again, energy passing through the laptop. And there was just so much to go around, that I just soaked in as much as I could, and then I just like literally went to bed and crashed.
And that one does go till 9-ish officially, and then on, and then she does an after party. But I'm remembering, I was really moved too. I was going to hop off early until Pam shared what came into her life as a result of COVID in this way, and her own stepping into DJ and hosting this event that she never thought she would do. And, here's this community of really regular attendees all there. And one by one, people shared their amazing stories and a lot of it was, they listed kind of what her dance has done for them. I thought I was just like, I was going to talk about this anyway tonight. And I'm like, well, here it is. Boom, boom, boom. Every single person that spoke. One woman met, her partner online at Pam's dance, and moved to the Bay Area.
Isn't that amazing?
Result of meeting somebody, right, from dancing with them, right? And we see these people moving and their energy, and they come into this, like, Pam seems to galvanize people, and she's such a bubbly personality, and she's so open, and that other people that have that energy come right in with their openness too. She gives a lot of permission, right? And so we have these colorful people that show up there and speak up, and when it's heart share time, or be crazy on the screen with their snap camera stuff, which creates virtual characters on the screen and backgrounds. There's all this other stuff you can do that you can never do on a straight dance floor, to show who you are in some kind of way, even with the limited, you're in this tiny little box on screen, and people with their lights in their living room and all of that. So, there's a flavor that people bring. And there's a piece for me was the safety too. For some people, it's a lot more safe.
Exactly that.
Yeah. Both emotionally safe, because in some ways you are protected by your little home, and there's these strangers that are strangers at first, but after a couple months of dancing with them, you could be in their living room and be safe. But you don't know that when you first walk into the space, right? At any dance. So there's that kind of emotional safety that builds in the bonding in the community. And then for folks who have limited or less than completely mobile for whatever reason, they have limited abilities, and that could be an illness if you're just sick, or you're getting over something, or you've had surgery and you can't get to the dance or dance there, or there's one of the participants who has Parkinson's and it makes him hard. He said, this one person who said, I used to dance 4 days a week, but now since COVID and online dances, I dance 3 times a day.
That's right.
And he's 76 or something like that, 76 years old. So, there's all this opportunity, and he's kind of a regular. I've seen him over and over, and every dance I go to, he's at.
Well, we have a couple people with Parkinson's that are dancers on the call. It's pretty impressive.
That's right.
No joke.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
no
right.
joke. Yeah.
And I've had people who are like bedridden come to my dances, or in wheelchairs, or maybe they have to sit at their desk because so there's that.
We've had dancers dance from the hospital bed with their little like IV thing here, just like hardcore, man.
And they love the community, and that someone else said, I'm alone. I live at home alone now, and I have my dance family here. I can get together with my dance family every Monday night, and I just thought, I was so touched by that. That was just so sweet. So
it's like. We have our choice to spend our times doing whatever, whenever, and it's just that consistency, particularly of that Monday night crowd for so long, and so many to just like show up and in force every single Monday is just, it's very humbling to see that level of dedication at such a large scale.
Yeah, or even if it's
Yeah.
dedication or it's just compelling, it's such a
Hmm.
fun dance.
Yeah.
Once, if that's your thing, and it's not everybody's thing, maybe to show up that way, but if that's kind of, if you have a little bit of, uh, what does my friend call it? Like a little bit of show off energy, and you can come up and you want to be seen, and you also want to appreciate other people, and you're, okay with silliness and just engagement and
Uh-huh.
also good listening, when people speak, then this is just a really beautiful environment. And it's compelling. I know I don't like to miss that dance, only if I'm really
Yeah.
exhausted. And even then,
Yeah.
I'm too tired, but I turn it on immediately. I'm engaged. That's just it. Everybody's there and they're playing. People
Uh-huh.
play there. So that is, if you haven't tried, for our writers, that if you haven't tried the virtual dancing, well, first of all, I think we can re-put in the link for Pam's dance, because she's like maybe the first stop if you haven't done it. If this sounds appealing to you, if you need something more sedate, you can come to mine. It's very small. It's 3 days a week in the middle of the day for just a little short burst of dancing that's very engaging, and very permission giving, and then some heart sharing afterwards. Real open group, really sweet, warm group. And then there's all kinds of varieties in between that we've talked about, and we continue to put the access links into the description of our podcast each time we do one. If we named that event, we will put that link so that you can participate, especially if it's virtual. But then also leading right into, perfect segue, thank you, Harmony. We also want to put some participation links into the discussion about what Chris and I are up to and what we're participating in and what's local for us. And so, Chris, ta-da, wake up.
Oh,
This
I
is your
know, right?
moment. This is
I know.
Chris's fantastic
The
moment.
the weekender update.
The
Yeah. I
Weekender
dropped
update. Here it is.
yeah, I dropped the whiteboard thing. It just didn't roll off the tongue. I like the weekender update. It's just
Weekender update. Yes, that sounds
yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's the name of a vehicle, right? You get in that Weekender and then you go to the update. I'm just kidding, but yeah, go ahead. Don't let me throw you.
Too late. Um, well, I'm just gonna touch on just two of the regular ones. One of the ones is we already talked about, and that's the
Yeah.
Ecstatter Day. So it is happening this coming Saturday, and I'll put the link in for all the
And
details.
it's
It's very well,
ongoing. It's
yeah,
ongoingly
it's
happening.
ongoing,
So this is
right?
just, it's every Saturday, and until we tell you it's not, probably. But go ahead. Yeah.
I think it's going to be going. I think it's going to be going on for a while. There's a lot of like passion and dedication, not only in the organizers, plural, but also too just the community of people there.
Participants. Yeah.
The participants are just truly dedicated to it,
Yeah.
and I want to see it going. So I'm going to try to make it as often as I possibly can. So
Yeah. Support it that way with your body. Yeah.
yeah. And I had a great time on Saturday. I just love
Yeah,
connecting
you
with
already
everybody
talked
there.
a lot about that.
Oh my God. Yeah. All
So
right.
there'll be
Yeah.
there'll be a link and some
My
info
bad.
links in the chat, in the what's it called? The description notes of this podcast.
This
And
podcast. Okay,
then
and then so I don't know if I need to run through anything else on that, but
that's enough, I think. We
yeah, I
talked
think
about
so.
that.
I think so. Yeah. And then the other one is now that's moved to Sunday is the Dance the Change that's head
Yeah.
up by DJ Boogie Meister.
Yeah.
Is now, it's still in the snow park, but it's now on Sundays.
Yeah.
And that too is from that's from 1 to 4 actually, right?
1 to 4, and that's made a little transition. It was on Saturdays, but it happened on Sunday. I didn't actually go. I went to this other dance, but there were several people who went to both, actually. Went to that one first and then came on over to Aquatic Park. So that's an ongoing dance now. There's a couple different DJs. Starts at 1, goes to 4, usually goes longer. And honestly, Snow Park is a beautiful park. That is a silent disco. That one, the only option at this point is the headset, and it's by donation. It's Dance the Change. He's collecting money for different causes if you care to donate, and he is good about cleaning the equipment. So, everything is COVID safe and people wear masks for the most part or keep distance. So that's an ongoing Oakland choice, especially given that at least I and you used to go to Oakland at the Sweets Ballroom. So it's kind of a
Right.
little like still doing that dance in some ways. Yeah.
And then the other thing I forgot to mention is Jesse's dance. I see it's now called the Waffle House.
Oh,
And
right.
so this is, yeah, I forgot to mention that. So this coming Saturday is the Waffle House number 15, which I'm guessing it's his 15th dance set that he's done there on Saturday.
So
And
we're
that
on
happens.
13 and he's on 15. 13 is the
Was that it?
podcast
Okay.
number. 15
All
is
right.
Jesse's number. I'm a number
Okay.
freak.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's it. Yep.
And Jesse is who follows whatever the first noon to 3 set that goes on.
1 to 3. 1 to 3.
1 to 3. Okay.
Yeah.
2 hours. Okay. And yeah. And then that one has the heart circle at the end too. So you can just stay for the day there, especially you can go early or late. It looks like parking's available most of the time. And then the special news is, we're going to run over again as usual. Don't run over any animals. We're going to run over clock time a little bit because Chris and I are taking another road trip this Sunday. We're going to go down to the San Jose area and we're going to dance with the Outside Pod, which is Dance Church, which is a Santa Cruz 20-year-old dance that was housed in the 418 space. It's 418 Front Street in the little kind of funky dance studio there. I've been hosting that online, the online portion, but they've got these outside pods. We're down to, there was one in Santa Cruz that's kind of faded a little bit, maybe for a reason I'll describe, but there's a very strong attendance at the San Jose outside pod for people that live closer there, I guess. And it's actually in Saratoga. And so I've been wanting to go down there and dance with the people that I've only been seeing in this little, square on my Zoom screen. I see the grass, I see the trees, I see the people dancing tiny because, that's zoomed way back. And then at the end, that host takes his screen and he shows everybody that's been dancing with us. So I'm hankering to go down and actually physically dance with those folks. And I roped in Chris. He's going to be my driver. Right? And dance with him. Yeah.
Like usual.
Yeah. So that's Sunday at 10. And I'll put info for that also in the description. And the cool thing that's happening down there, it's a big deal for Dance Church right now because the building they've been in is being I guess probably demolished. They're building something else right there. And they finally found a new home. I think it's just kind of down the block, not too far away. And so they're getting ready to transition everything, maybe even pulling up the dance floor and moving it. And the folks down there are super excited. There's a really loyal bunch of Dance Church regulars for at least 20 years. They rotate DJs. It's very community based. And so they're in the process of that. And even 418, which just happened, April 18th, was declared some kind of holiday, some kind of official day by the mayor of Santa Cruz in honor of the 418. It's a nonprofit that kind of houses the Dance Church and some classes and so forth. So it's kind of a big deal down there. And I want to go soak up some of that energy and dance with some of those juicy people. So we're going to do that on Sunday, and we'll talk to you about it next week in our next chapter. That's the word I want. Chapter 14 coming up, right?
Oh my God.
Now
Oh my God.
we're just right behind Jesse. We're going to have to catch up.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to say about the trip? Maybe we'll take a little bit of video as we go down there in the car.
Yeah. I was thinking about that.
Folks.
Kind of do a little, on the road sort of piece.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Take our writers with us visually as well. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you are. In Pleasanton? Is that where you are?
I'm in Pleasanton. Yeah, just hanging out. I'm actually my buddies are they actually restaurant hopped. It's a longer story than going into right now. But they popped over to this Nepalese restaurant. So and I think they may actually still be there. So I'm gonna whip around the corner. But I actually drove in because I was parked next to them out on the street, but they may like stop out for a smoke break. And I just knew that if I was out there trying to do this frickin' podcast, that they would come up to the window and try to get me to laugh. So I tucked around the corner. So yeah, so I'm kind of like, I don't know if you can see, but I'm just kind of like
Let me look out
Parked
your
in-
window. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
in
just
a
like
not in a
parked around the
space all by
corner.
yourself.
Yeah.
God forbid you should laugh, Chris. We don't want that
Well,
happening during the podcast.
well,
No.
no, I mean, just to get me
I'm kidding
distracted.
you.
Yeah, because they would be absolutely ruthless. These guys,
They'd be
yeah, these
messing
guys are
with you for
savage.
sure.
Yeah, they're savages. Yeah.
Darn, I want to meet them, I guess next time.
Oh,
I'll have to
yeah.
do that trip with you next year.
Yeah.
Aha, maybe. Yeah. All right. So what else is happening? Like, do we have sort of a thing that we do at the end that kind
If
of,
I can get my phone to not
as
like
long as your phone doesn't
doesn't
crash.
slash.
See what we,
Yeah.
ooh, should we
Whoa,
just,
whoa, what
whoa,
was that? Whoa,
whoa,
hold on a
I
second.
don't know. Do you have
I'm
the
losing
energy
control here.
ball or do I?
Uh-oh.
It's
I
like,
don't know.
whoa.
Do you have it?
I don't know. Do you think
I'm
you
not
should put
sure.
your hands on the steering wheel just in case? Oh, that's right.
I'm in the passenger
You're
seat.
in the parking
If I
lot.
do
Oh,
it here, okay, here, my hands are on the steering wheel.
Maybe I'll take it.
There we go. All right, there we go.
Wait, locked
Oh, there we go.
and loaded.
And
All
loaded.
right.
There we
Until
go.
next week. Thank you so much. It's been fun. Ciao for now.